Hey kids, it's about time I made another video. So today I thought I would do some more...
What are you doing? Go out the window.
I'm free!
Clones nowadays.
What do you think this is? Some sort of Wheezy Waiter video? Alright, yes, it's true what that one said. I haven't made a video in a little bit, especially something about what we're learning in culinary school. But I wanted to make this video really quickly because there's one section that we're covering for a second time that a lot of my classmates have questions about, and I think I got a good grapple on it. Food costing. The first thing you think of when you go to culinary school, okay, maybe you're making a lot of food. A lot of meats, a lot of fish, a lot of chicken, a lot of sauces, a lot of pâtés, a lot of terrines, a lot of organs, a lot of fish. The one thing you probably did not expect to learn about, never mind twice, is an in-depth review about food costing. Exactly how much should you charge that customer coming into the door, and exactly how did you arrive at the fact that you should be charging $1.20 for 3 maple bacon chocolate chip cookies. Recipe to be found here. Take a look. I'm not gonna hold you back or anything, just check it out. You missed your chance. Well, there's a certain relationship between what you're bringing in, what you're baking, what you're needing, and how much you paid for it. And that all comes together as to how much you should charge the customer. There are a lot of points to consider. So to kind of break it down and make it very easily, I did a food costing experiment with this recipe right here. Bam. Ooh. I call this salad seitan loga. It is red bell pepper, carrots, and spaghetti squash with grilled seitan and 2 vinaigrettes, including a habanero-infused balsamic. But really, I'm just looking at this part right here. Yeah, that part, the red one. Okay, well, you look at this picture way too long. Red bell pepper. Okay, you've had it before. You probably had it in pizza, probably in salads, probably munched on it raw. Yum. Anyway, so here's a food costing experiment that I put together for you to hopefully help explain the mathematics that's involved in arriving for a certain price of a dish. Here we go. Okay, so to discover how much I need to charge somebody for that plate, well, I'm just going to focus on one ingredient first. That's going to be the red bell pepper in the previous recipe that you had just seen. Now, I bought that red bell pepper for $2 and it weighed 340 grams. That means that per gram, it's going to be costing me about $0.006 or just a little bit over half of a penny. The honking car outside agrees. With me so far? Good, because you want to put that in your memory bank. Then we do something called a yield test to figure out, no matter how much of this pepper that I bought, how much of it can I actually use? No one's going to eat the white parts inside and the seeds. That's kind of yucky and gross and grainy and seedy. You wouldn't want to eat that stuff. Unless you're a bird, which you're probably not, because if you are, I have to wonder how you typed in my channel in order to see this little doobly-doo right here. But anyway, I figured out that 54% of this pepper is actually usable. The rest I'll discard or consider trim. Get it out of sight, out of mind. So the actual edible portion cost, or how much of that pepper that I cut up is going to be usable, well, it's $2. That's how much I originally paid for it, divided by the percentage that I'm using. So $2 divided by 54% means that this is going to be valued at $3.70. Wait a minute, how did that come into the picture? Where did that extra $1.70 come into play? It helps not to think of it as an actual amount that you paid, but an actual perceived value of that ingredient. In order to get 340 grams of usable red bell pepper, you would perceptually pay $3.70. But because you didn't pay that much for red bell pepper and you're not buying it pre-cut up, after you toss the trim and whatever is usable remaining, you can value it at $3.70. With me so far? Good, because it's only going to get a lot more complicated. Did I just mouth the word easier, but then more complicated came out of my mouth? Okay, I won't do that never. I mean again. Shifty eyes, shifty eyes, shifty eyes, shifty eyes. back on track. The recipe yield is supposed to be 190 grams. Between you and me, that's how much I actually got from the original pepper, and I used it all, and, well, whatever. Now, the cost per unit of measure, or value per unit of measure, if you will, is going to be that edible portion cost, $3.70, divided by how much I actually purchased, 340 grams. That means that each gram is going to be valued at about 0.011 cents, or just a little bit over 1 cent per gram. Let's continue. I take that and I multiply it by how much I'm actually using. So 0.011 cents times how much the recipe yields means that in this recipe, the pepper would cost me $1.89 to use. All I care about is the fact that if I'm putting that much pepper on the plate based upon what I bought, if I charge $1.89, I'd be breaking even. But of course, you never go to a restaurant and see yourself charged the amount it costs to make. You always have to factor in a certain amount for the salt and the oil and other negligible amounts that are going to be put into the recipe. That's what's called a Q factor. Sounds like a Simon Cowell show. Yeah. But you also have to figure out the food cost percentage. How much of the actual billing amount that you're going to give your customers is going to be the cost. And sometimes that can be as high or low, or depending on your perspective, as 25%. So you're telling me I'm giving customers a 75% markup? Yeah. But that 75% is not all profit, you see. Some of that is going to paying the rent, or paying the salary, paying the dishwasher, paying the guy that delivered the stuff, the maitre d', that guy that did not see you take that fork and put it in your bag, put it back on the table because I'm paying for that. That means that it's not really all that abnormal to charge way more than it costs in order to get your stuff to break even within the restaurant. So hopefully this sheds light over the complicated math that is involved in figuring out how much to put on that menu for your total cost. Not really that easy, I understand. But you see, unlike a class lecture, you can hit the rewind button, which I think is like right down here, something like that for YouTube. Or if you're hitting the iPhone, you can smack my schnoz or something like that. Yeah, that's not working, but here, you try it. Hopefully that helped. Gotta run. Bye! This is the end. This is the end. The opposite of the start is the end.